All right, welcome back to the show. We are honored this morning. Not everybody gets the honored, Randy, when we say that. Sometimes we have people come in and we're like, oh, here we go. But this morning we are honored to have Randy Couture in. Thanks for being here, my friend.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
And sometimes we tell people we have a big guest, but we're just lying. We only use the honored line for people we actually mean it about.
But seriously, man, this is it's great of you to come in. And, we talk to a lot of celebs, and they all want to get on the phone in the morning, and I get it. But you were nice enough to be like, no, man, I'll get up and I'll drive in. So that's very cool of you.
I don't live that far from here.
Yeah, no, he hit me up and I was like, is in studio an issue? And he was like, absolutely not. Yeah, I'll be there in a second. Tell me where to be there. So I'm like, so. I also want to mention before we get into anything else, I got to give Randy props for that goddamn hat he's wearing. Let's go, Seahawks! Another 12.
That's right.
You know what? Misha Tate. Randy Couture, I'm building like the toughest army of 12s in Nevada.
Bands, yes.
Terrible news about Russell Wilson.
Oh, you shut up. Don't listen to him. He makes up all
ACL in the shower.
No, didn't I?
Yeah.
You know what?
Getting out of the shower with a guy, and nobody knows what's going on. They don't know what's going on.
You know what? You mess with Randy.
Ravens fan.
No, Redskins. Very close.
Oh, Redskins.
Yeah.
I knew you were in that neighborhood.
Now 3 Super Bowls. Anyway, we'll talk about that.
I'm telling you, if you want to hop over there, knock out a few teeth.
We are going to break some furniture.
Yeah, before when Randy got in, Ransom went to grab a chair and then inexplicably just shattered it into a million pieces.
Well, Ransom's got some anger issues.
I do.
We hope he settles down a little bit.
Up on the furniture.
Yes, exactly. Big event this weekend, Randy, and I'm on the website now, and so I want people to be able to check this out. But the Our Heroes benefit concert. Aaron Lewis. I mean, this is a big deal. You're there, obviously, it's your foundation. So, how did you get started? Just some people that may not know that you got involved with it. How did you get started? Why is it so important to you?
I wore the uniform in the '80s. There wasn't much going on in the '80s. I never had to put my butt on the line. Unlike the guys now since 9/11 who've been fighting the war on terror across the ocean, and many of them making huge sacrifices. Some of them the ultimate sacrifice. But I started a foundation about 8 years ago called the Extreme Couture GI Foundation. We've been running a bunch of small events, mostly here in the Vegas area, with my gym staff. And so, no overhead. Every dime we raise goes into the hands of some of our vets and their families that need help. This is the 3rd year doing the Guitars Under Stars and Stripes charity concert, country concert generally. First year was with Gary Allen at Sunset Station. It was amazing. Last year was with Joe Nichols out at the Hard Rock Pool. This year, Stoney's got on board. They're letting us have their facility. We're bringing in Aaron Lewis as the headliner. Elvis Monroe's going to play. Jared Blake's going to be there singing. And then Elko is opening up for us. So a great night of country music. And every dime we raise from the ticket sales will go directly to a soldier and his family.
That's awesome. You hear so many of these foundations. They do great work, and then in the end you hear, oh man, it was like 5 cents on that event went to here, 5 cents on that event went there. That's cool that you do that, man. And you're open about
I'm proud of that fact.
Right.
And obviously I've heard all the horror stories about some of the execs making 6+ figures off of their foundations for veterans, and that's very irritating to me.
I'll tell you, I still get, I watch the news, man, and I just get so pissed off. There's a guy the other day that we lost. He got ambushed. These ISIS sons of bitches. It never, and I guess it's a good thing. Yeah, I continue to get pissed off when I see these ISIS attacks. I really do.
Yeah, no, it does. It's frustrating, and I can't understand why we can't just take the cuffs off our guys and let them go, let them do what they need to do.
Why can't we
There'll be a couple vets at the show that have been there and have made some pretty significant sacrifices. Jimmy Jones was an EOD tech. He's become a very good friend of mine through this process, and he's going to come speak. We've got a new brand ambassador for Affliction Clothing, Jose Sanchez, another Marine who's missing a limb. Been there, done that, been on the ground, and he's going to come say hi to everybody as well.
Awesome.
And maybe if you're not familiar completely with the fundraiser, the majority of this money is going towards the wounded warriors, right? So these are people that came over from the big show.
These are vets. I started my own foundation, Extreme Couture GI Foundation. We're our own standalone 501c3. We've been running small events, poker tournament, poker run. Our poker run, actually, our 8th annual poker run is next Saturday, the 21st. Here in Vegas. It's the 8th year in a row we've done that motorcycle ride.
Yeah.
All for my foundation. Every year we go out to the hospitals, and the staff at the hospitals helps us identify families that need a hand. What people don't realize is these guys are sometimes in transition getting fitted for prosthetics and going through surgeries for over a year. And during that time, their lives are still on hold. They've got caretakers, their mom, their sister, their wife that
Right.
come spend that time at the hospital, while at home their house bill's still accruing. Their cars are parked in a parking lot,
Sure.
accruing bills there. And so we write $10,000 checks to each of those families. We get to sit down every year. So if I raise $70,000 this year, I'll be at the hospital next January writing 7 checks to 7 families.
Which is absolutely phenomenal, and that's why when we kind of heard about this event. Of course, me and Marco are still new to the area. We've only been here for like 3 months, and we just so happened to run across a flyer. And then, hey, we're fans of you and what you've done in your career, but probably even more so, we're huge fans of the cause. So that's why we reached out. We're like, we have got to do something. We've got to support this. We've got to get behind it and get the word out. So it's Stoney's this Saturday.
Stoney's
right?
this Saturday on the 14th. The show's gonna open up at 6:30 with Elko. There's still about 600 tickets left. We've sold all the tables. We're digging into over half of the tickets that we have available now. So if you want to come get a ticket, you can go to xcgif.org and buy a ticket, or go to Stoney's and get a ticket. It's going to be a great night. And then 6:30 to 10.
Yeah.
I think Aaron will probably go on around 9 and play the whole last hour.
Yeah, and of course Aaron Lewis is from the band Stained, who is very familiar with the X1075 listeners, put out a ton of great records, has transitioned a little bit over to country, but regardless of what genre is doing, a who's who in the music business. So that's quite a get.
He's bringing his whole band, so I'm sure you're going to hear a lot of the classics and some of the new stuff that he's doing. So I'm excited.
Like you, what a good dude. What a good dude, just like you.
Yeah,
That's
no,
awesome.
we're very honored to have him step up, support the cause, and be our main event.
Yeah, we're gonna link the website where you can get these tickets on our social pages and the X1075 website. So we'll get that taken care of here just a few minutes after we're finished hanging out with Randy.
Anybody who loves to ride motorcycles, come out the following Saturday. We're starting at 10 and 10:30 in the morning at the Las Vegas Harley Davidson for our 8th annual GI Foundation Poker Run. We're going to hit a couple of the cool spots around town and finish out at the Pioneer Saloon at Good Springs. I don't know if you guys have been out there yet.
Not yet, but we've heard about it.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
We've heard about it.
we've heard some crazy stories out there.
It's a great place.
Yeah.
I love it out there, and the burgers and everything out there is fantastic. So if you like to ride motorcycles, come and ride with us and support the cause there.
Yeah, back to the cause, and I'm on the Stoney's site because they're obviously promoting the show. It's at Stoney's, and the stats here are unbelievable. The 24,000 U.S. troops that have been wounded and everything. Why can't we get a group of badasses together, like yourself, some other MMA guys? That's what I'm talking about. I mean, what about that? Hey, ISIS
rampage.
Go on ISIS
Hey,
rampage.
Randy, what he's saying is I will not be invited on this mission. Only
Maybe-
badasses allowed.
Maybe I won't be there, but I'll be a fan of the mission. I think that would be cool.
Going a little bit past the foundation, again, we're huge fans and we think this is great. We'll hit on it before we let you go. I did want to hit on some MMA, some UFC stuff going on. What do you think about what's going on with all the craziness with Dana White, Conor McGregor? The goddamn main event is flip-flopping. John Bones Jones is back, or he's not, or Conor. What's going on, man?
I don't know. The sport's in a bit of turmoil, certainly with the UFC brand, and some of that revolves around and Dana and his antics. Some of that is the fighters themselves. John can't seem to stay out of trouble. As talented and as amazing a fighter as he is, he can't seem to get out of his own way. He looked a little rusty in that last outing.
He did.
But understandably, it's been over a year since
Yep.
he kind of competed, and he's probably lucky that Daniel Cormier got hurt.
Right.
Because if he'd brought that show in against Daniel, it might have been a different night for him. And obviously, I'm a Daniel fan. We both went to Oklahoma State. He's a great guy. I'm a big fan of his, and I like his chances against John.
Yeah.
It's hard to say what Conor was thinking. I suspect it was a money grab. He was trying to hold out for more money. I think they announced the fight before he'd actually signed the terms
Gotcha.
of the bout agreement, and So he saw an opportunity to potentially get.
But you've done a bunch of this press. I mean, that seemed to be his big sticking point. I don't want to leave. Is
no,
it
you don't
that
get
big?
paid for it, but you're building a brand in a sport. Yes, the UFC is your vehicle to do that. So I think you have to embrace the media and do all that stuff you can.
But going into it, that's just a part of it, right?
Absolutely.
So this should not have been any shock or something you should
That's
be
why I
bitching
believe it was a money grab. I think he was trying to get more money out of him, trying to squeeze him. More power to him. He's got a lot of leverage. He's their only star right now.
But in reality, who's going to win? Who's going to win that battle?
I'm a fan of Misha Tate as well, as you mentioned
Right.
earlier.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
Being
Go
a
Hawks,
Seattle guy,
right?
Yeah, so, I think Misha's got a ton of potential for them if they get behind her. But it's really a function of who Dana and Lorenzo and Zuffa want to get behind and who they really want to promote.
Right.
Where do you and Dana stand? Your relationship?
We don't have one.
Yeah.
I've never been one of their favorites from day one almost. I've kind of fought with them over contract things almost from the beginning when they bought the company, over ancillary rights and some of those things that they put in these contracts.
Help me understand that. That makes no sense to me and a lot of the fans. You were one of the original iconic faces of this. I don't understand that.
It's got to be weird if you're not getting along with Dana White, but you are synonymous with the company. You are one of their most legendary names.
I appreciate that. And yeah, it's complicated. They just, I fought for things in the contract that not a lot of guys understood. I had management that did understand and explained it to me. Ancillary rights are your name and likeness for all the things outside of when you actually step in that cage.
Like the video games and the merchandise.
Doing a movie,
right.
doing all that, the video games and all that other stuff. So we fought for that stuff, and they didn't like it. And I think that put us off on the wrong foot almost from the moment they bought the company.
Couple quick more questions for you. First off, biggest freak athlete you ever faced? It's got to be Brock
Absolutely
Lesnar.
Brock.
I mean, because he came in raw and without a whole lot of training.
I respected his ability because I'm a wrestler, and I watched him win an NCAA championship.
Right.
I knew what kind of athlete he was. How many guys go from there and just walk on to Vikings training camp?
Exactly, right.
A lot of guys do stuff
and
like that.
almost made the team with no experience.
I had a lot of respect for him as an athlete. I also saw kind of the flaws and potential holes in his fight game because he hadn't had a chance to develop yet.
Sure.
But he was definitely a freak. Hard to find guys to come in and train and replicate what he's going to bring to that cage, and that was a big challenge. Finding workout partners to help me prepare for him.
Right.
Because he's so big and he moves so well.
Yeah, he moves like a cat. And like I
He's a
said, he's
big
just a
dude.
giant dude.
And obviously, he had his ups and downs. He did well. I don't think he ever really made friends with getting punched. And that takes. I mean, you got to kind of be one of those guys. And when you get cracked, it's got to trip your trigger.
Right. Well, then he ended up
set your jaw and
yeah.
all right, now it's on instead of.
Then he ended up getting like sick or whatever. He had that
the
illness.
Diverticulitis was a kind of a weird thing, and he struggled with that for a while. He lost a bunch of weight and really had a problem with that. But I think fortunately now he's recovered. He's back to pro wrestling.
Right.
He seems to be a lot more comfortable there and doing well.
Making a lot more money, getting less hurt.
Probably.
Randy,
those guys get beat up too.
Randy Couture is here hanging out with us. You stay in great shape. I mean, I look at you and I'm like, man, this is what I remember watching you, on TV. You stay in great shape. Is there ever a scenario, and I'm sure you get tired of is there ever a scenario,
Here it comes.
That you're back in there? And
We want it, Randy!
The fans want it, Randy.
It's been 5 years.
Yeah.
I retired 5 years ago this last April. And you know what? It was a good decision for me. I was almost 48 years old. It was time to hang it up.
Wait a minute. What if we pit you against Ransom, our producer? Would you take that fight in our parking lot?
Chair, I don't know.
How about you and Ransom fight in the parking lot in 5 minutes, and we'll put it on Periscope.
That's it. Let's do it.
I mean, you're a young guy. You're healthy. What do you want to do in life? I mean,
I'm happily retired from
Okay.
fighting. I think it was a very good, rational decision at 48 to hang it up. I'm going on 53 now. I'm healthy. I held up well after 14 years of fighting.
I say, Jesus, he looks like he's 30 years old.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm enjoying acting. I'm having a blast. I started acting 15 years ago. Was my first movie gig, and just getting better jobs, chasing more acting roles, and having fun, kind of playing characters. It's kind of weird because I spent my entire life as an athlete boxing up my emotions and pushing them to the side and going out and kind of programmed to do what I'm trained to do. And now they want me to let that stuff out. It's kind of strange, but I'm having a blast doing it.
Anything coming down the pipelines we should be looking for as far as the big
like
screen?
We're gonna get to do another Expendables. We're gonna start filming Expendables 4 in the fall. Waiting on the script now and kind of how it's all going to unfold. Who we're bringing back? I've heard rumors, but nothing official.
Those are such great movies. I mean, you just get into those movies. I mean, they are
Look,
great.
and
such a great group of guys.
It really is.
And here's the thing: the people that complain about those movies, they're making no bones about what the movie is. It's action stars. It's a lot of explosions. It's fight scenes, and that's what it is. So the guys like, me and Marco who love that kind of stuff, of course we're not expecting Schindler's List or anything. We're expecting action, and then these movies definitely give it to you.
Just finished one down in Mexico, a smaller film, but I think it's going to be good. It's going to be a lot of fun, called The Bruja and the Lost City of Gold, kind of an updated version of an Indiana Jones type movie. I got to play that treasure hunter type of a character, and we shot down in Cancun. For 3 weeks, real rough duty down there.
Yeah, I bet.
But had a blast.
Glad you made it back okay from Cancun. Man.
Boy, getting that tan sure looks tough. Oh, man.
Killer.
Hashtag Randy Strong. He needs the help. Don't give up on him. Don't give up on him.
We think he will eventually be able to drink margaritas in its bowl.
Well, listen, this weekend, the Our Heroes benefit concert, like we mentioned, it's Stoney's Aaron Lewis, and what a phenomenal cause. You're just such a nice, genuine guy. I know that fans spent a lot of money watching you bludgeon people to death, almost, but what a nice guy. And, man, like I said, the cause of you getting behind this and starting your own foundation, I want to make it clear, the Wounded Warriors is a separate foundation. This is your foundation for our Wounded Warriors.
Extreme Couture GI Foundation, so I tend to use the word veteran instead of warrior because I want to eliminate any association and confusion with that foundation and the kind of the stuff that's coming out. I've been running this foundation with my gym staff and my friends, basically. We're all volunteer. Nobody gets paid out of our foundation.
I also want to mention, this is an 18 and over show, so that's important. So if you're under 21 and you want to go, you can. This is an 18 and over show.
Randy, before we let you leave, please let our audience know where they can find out more about the gig, where they can contact you personally, anything that you want out there,
obviously,
please.
The Extreme Couture MMA is my gym here in town, over on Sunset Road, 4055 West Sunset Road. You can come in there anytime. We're open to the public. And then xcgif.org is the foundation website, and that has the calendar and everything about all our events on there.
Awesome.
Yep, and the event is this Saturday night. Some tickets left. Tickets are they're $30 in advance, and the cause is well above and beyond that.
And that show is just badass, so you're getting your money's worth.
It's going to be a great night.
Randy emceeing it, Aaron Lewis, some other really talented artists too. So this Saturday night, like I said, great cause, and you've got a real genuine heart behind it. So
appreciate it.
That's awesome, Randy Couture. We hope you'll be back at some point.
Absolutely.
We're just a few minutes from you, right?
Yeah, you're very close.
And not to mention, we're both wearing Seahawks hats. It's almost like match made in heaven here.
Oh, I'm in heaven right now. Thank you again. That's Randy Couture. It's Marco and Jeetz, X1075.